She don't do the day-to-day operations. That's why you have a village administrator and a senior advisor.
Everybody got to understand their position, their power, and what they can do as a board member. I am the mayor. I have executive powers, just like you guys are the trustees. Y'all legislate. I govern. I run the town, the day-to-day operation, all of the department heads. That's my job. So that's why I'm trying to make sure you understand as a trustee. And I wish everybody just learn their position and stop bucking at me for whatever I'm doing and let me be great and be the mayor. That's what I need people to do.
Who sees it before she sees it?
The guy that spent it, the accountant, whoever has access.
Bam!
Whoever has
bam,
access
bam,
to
bam. CPA that's set in place, right, does not report it to the lead, the top. How would you ever know?
So, you guys doing a lot of snitching.
Bam!
Whoever has
bam,
access
bam,
to
bam.
Hi you guys, welcome back. So this guy who's talking right here is Kamal Woods, Tiffany Henyard's boyfriend, and he's talking to a content creator named Tommy G, who has a huge following. And Tommy G is asking Kamal about who's responsible for spending money on credit cards and who's responsible for hiring and firing people in Thornton Township. And Kamal is saying that Tiffany Henyard has nothing to do with any spending or hiring and firing of people at Thornton Township, while simultaneously blaming everything on CPA Robert Hunt. So much like Tiffany, Kamal likes to run his mouth and push blame onto others when he may be fully aware of who the responsible parties are behind all this mismanagement and cronyism. Allegedly. Also like Tiffany Henyard, Kamal feels like he's a big deal, hence the meeting in the conference room at Thornton Township like he's a big boss. But like content creator Cafe of Knowledge pointed out when she did her reaction on Tommy G's video, Kamal is not even supposed to be there, and he certainly shouldn't be sitting behind any desk inside of Thornton Township building talking about Thornton Township HR topics because he was fired.
I would like to make a motion to terminate effective immediately Kamal Woods. Second.
Trustee Biederman?
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle?
Yes.
Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passed.
So shout out to Cafe of Knowledge. Her name says exactly what she is, and that's a wealth of knowledge. She's always bringing to light certain aspects of stories that others might miss. Now, this content creator, Tommy G, usually makes content where he goes and interviews gang members and some of the shadiest parts of the world. He puts his life on the line to show outsiders a glimpse into these heavily coded underground worlds. Now, in case you don't know, this is not Tommy G's first time at the Tiffany Henyard rodeo.
I'm Tommy G. Today we're looking into the most corrupt mayor in America.
He first went to Dolton to investigate Tiffany Henyard's alleged corruption a little over a year ago. During his time there, he was confronted and bombarded by former Deputy Chief of Police Louis Lacey.
One more time, I am clearing the room.
Yeah, clear the room, Lacey, who was no longer employed with the village after receiving an overwhelming vote of no confidence from the police officers who served under him.
I want you to know what how the police department felt. We, the members of the Dolton Police Department, are generating a correspondence to our union. The village administration, board of trustees, and citizens of the village of Dolton as a formal declaration expressing our displeasure with the leadership of the former Deputy Chief of Police, Louis Lacey. This letter serves as official notice of intent to present a unified vote of no confidence.
So Tommy G basically put Tiffany Henyard on blast about a year ago with an overwhelming showcase of receipts and interviews with some Dolton residents who had some not so nice things to say about Tiffany. And that video ended up being one of his most watched videos, gaining over 5.6 million views. So since Tommy G went to Dolton, put Tiffany on blast, and tried to confront her about all the allegations, and then followed up with a video that painted her in a not so good light, what do you think Tiffany did when Tommy G got into contact with her and asked her for a one-on-one interview? Of course she said yes, thinking that she could win Tommy G over and that he would leave and report on all the good things she does for Dolton and Thornton Township. Well, of course that didn't happen, because there's not much good that Tiffany Henyard has done for either place. So the question, of course, is why did she agree to this interview? But the better question might be is why did she agree to this interview, possibly knowing that it would paint her in an even worse light than before? Now, I feel like Tiffany Henyard knew this encounter with Tommy G would shine an even brighter light on her alleged corruption, but that she chose to do it anyway for one of two reasons. One reason being that she's a narcissist, and will take any attention she can get, no matter what kind it is. 2 being that she knows she's going down soon, so she's going down loud and hard. Or it could be a mix of both 1 and 2 with some trolling in there as well. So this time around, Tommy G gave Tiffany Henyard the spotlight, and the rest was history. So before we go further into this video, if you're new here and like what you hear, please leave this video a like, and if you're a returning subscriber, please remember to leave it a like as well. So this video is just basically going to be me showing some clips, just small clips of, you know, when Tommy G went to Dolton and asked some questions to Tiffany Henyard, to Kamal, and then you know how I like to do on this channel. I like to throw in some relevant clips that kind of coincide with what people are talking about. So that being said, let's start the show.
You running a business, right? Like a real business. This is basically a Fortune 500. You know what I'm saying? You running 2 Fortune 500s, and both of them municipal. You get what I'm saying? So
you guys know I had to chime in right here because the look on Tommy G's face, something tells me he's had his share of people who think they're smooth talkers, who are grifters, you know, due to his many videos and the many places he has been where he interacts with a bunch of different people from different walks of life. Okay. So something is telling me he's not buying whatever Kamal is trying to sell. And what is Kamal saying? He's not really making sense, right? He's comparing Thornton Township to a Fortune 500 company, you guys. So just to show you guys how delusional he is by comparing Thornton Township with a Fortune 500 company. Thornton Township is a township which is a unit of local government, and they deal in millions, and Fortune 500 companies deal in trillions. Okay. So just to give you an idea, and the difference in dollar amount between $1 trillion and $1 million, I'll just pop those up on the screen for you guys. Yeah, so there's a big difference there, right? Thornton Township deals in the millions, while Fortune 500 companies deal in the trillions. So this once again shows the delusion, and the delusion runs deep with Tiffany Henyard and her crew of cronies. That's why in one of my previous videos, I compared one of her cronies to being a cult member. And that's this guy right here, William Moore, aka William Don't Pray For Me No More.
Brother Moore, you prayed us in on unity. You prayed us in and came with the most divisive speech I heard in my life. Don't pray for me no more.
So Tommy G ran into William Moore and tried to ask him a question, but in true William Moore fashion, he tucks his tail and shuffles away.
If it's the truth, why you're not going to speak on it? See, that's the thing. If you're really passionate about the truth, I would say it.
So let's get back to why I see William Moore as a cult follower. His unwavering devotion to Tiffany Henyard is not only scary, but it showcases how some people are susceptible to individuals who possess some kind of charisma, and yet their actions and how they treat people are anything but charismatic. Tommy G even mentioned Tiffany having charisma.
First comment I can say off the bat, she has charisma.
Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised by.
So while some people may not be able to admit that Tiffany Henyard has charisma, I will admit that she does. But so did a lot of infamous people in history who are known for doing terrible things to whole civilizations, okay? But like I said, just because someone can have charisma doesn't make them charismatic. Charisma is compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. And so the key word there is devotion. They can inspire devotion in others. And Tiffany Henyard has obviously inspired devotion in William Moore. He's completely devoted to her. Now, charismatic describes someone with a magnetic charm and appeal, often seen as captivating and influential, drawing people to them with their personality and presence. Now, I know some of you guys are like, not Tiffany Henyard, okay? But she did somehow manage to snag the mayor's seat and the supervisor seat in Thornton Township. Now, I know she was not voted in, but appointed into the supervisor seat. You better believe that there were conversations behind the scenes about her getting that position. And in order for her to talk herself into that role, I'm sure she had to turn on the charm. And I'm sure she smooth talked the right people, and that's how she got those roles, by simply being able to know when and how to turn on that charisma. But I digress. Let's move on. So you guys, I couldn't let this part go, okay? I had to comment on it because there's a short little interaction that happens between Tiffany Henyard, Kamal, and Tommy G. And I feel like Kamal is trying to assert his masculinity or dominance during this interaction because we know the internet then already tore him up about that Thornton Township brawl and how he got grabbed from behind by DeMarcus Quigley, who was another one of Henyard's cronies. So I think some of those comments got to him. He might be a little insecure. And so I just found this interaction both amusing and interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and play it and then I'll chime back in.
Hey, y'all.
How's it going?
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Right there.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
How are
Good to
you?
see Hey guys.
How's it going?
The one, the only Tiffany Henyard.
Finish getting
Finally
ready.
we meet.
Huh?
Finish
Yeah.
getting ready.
Yeah, I'm finna finish get ready and I'll
Okay.
be back.
Cool,
But
cool,
I
cool.
They gonna give you a whole layout of everything.
Perfect.
Yep. All right.
First comment I can say off the bat, she has charisma.
Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised by.
So let's run that back. We have Tiffany Henyard. She comes in the room like, hey y'all. Oh, I see you in here talking to my man. What's up, Tommy G? Okay, we give you a hug. Okay, this camera guy, I was gonna give him a handshake, but I guess I'll go in for a hug too. So you guys, I'm gonna slow that down. As we can see, she intentionally went in to give Tommy G a hug, but the second guy, she wanted to actually give him a handshake, but it was already committed. It would have been too awkward for her to go ahead and step back and then do like a formal handshake. Because you see, she wants to seem very inviting, very open, you know, very welcoming, very charismatic. That's what she's going for right now. So before I play this next part, I want you guys to listen to what Kamal is saying to Tiffany during this interaction.
Henyard.
Finish getting
Finally
ready.
we meet.
Huh?
Finish
Yeah.
getting ready.
Yeah, I'm finna finish get ready and I'll
Okay.
be back.
Cool,
But
cool,
They gonna
So you guys heard that? Finish getting ready.
Finish getting ready.
Finally.
Finish getting ready.
Finish getting ready.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he had to assert his dominance, and that's what I was talking about. He on his big pimping mode. You know, it's like, it's men in here talking. Woman, go out and you go out there, you finish getting ready, you come back in here when we're ready for you. Like, you guys, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I just found that really funny, the way he said that to her. And she's like, all right, okay, okay, baby.
Finish getting
Finally
ready.
we meet.
Huh?
Finish
Yeah.
getting ready.
Yeah, I'm finna finish get ready and I'll
Okay.
be back.
Cool,
But
cool.
You know, she got to make him feel good. Somebody has to, because he know he going down in the sinking ship with everybody else. All right. And the internet is not a fun place to be talked about. That's all I'm gonna say. And there was something else about this clip that I feel triggered him as well. And that might have been when Tiffany Henyard gave Tommy G that really welcoming hug. But not only did she give him a hug, she touched his hand, she patted him on his sleeve. It was just really touchy-feely, and that might have triggered Kamal even more. The thing about Tiffany Henyard, I've noticed that she can be touchy-feely. I think that's just how she is. Like, for instance, we've seen her get very close to Trustee Darlene Everett, to the clerk. I mean, granted, those were situations where she, you know, trying to persuade people to vote a different way and doing all type of shady stuff, allegedly. But she doesn't have a problem getting close to people, touching them. And I think that's just her asserting her dominance over that person. Because when she agreed to do this, she had it in mind that she is going to make herself look good, and that this content creator with all his viewers are going to see the Super Mayor for who she truly is. Well, she was right about that, because after this one, a lot more people are going to be exposed to who she really is, and maybe her time in government might be up. I don't know, you know, there's always some nooks and crannies that people can slide into, so you know, I'm not very hopeful on that part. But let's get to this next part that I wanted to discuss, and that is the Tiffany Henyard supporters. All the lovely people that came out to support Tiffany Henyard running for mayor of Dolton, because there were so many of them. You guys know I'm being sarcastic, right? But let's go ahead and get to them and, you know, see what they're made of.
What do you think about the Tahoe expenditures?
For the I don't know about that.
What do you think about the first class flights? You don't have any opinion on it?
Southside Chicago.
See, y'all don't even live here.
So why show up today then? Are you on our payroll?
I'm just here.
You're not getting a dime?
I want to get on your payroll.
So that's Pookie and Ray Ray, you guys. And we know that Tiffany brought him out to vote for her. probably for like some cigarettes and a 6-pack, you know, maybe a 40. And I'm very comfortable in my assumption that Tiffany Henyard told them to come out there, you know, put up some signs for her, be a support for her, and vote for her. And probably to cause trouble while they're there too, because one of them even threatened to slap Tommy G. A threat Tommy G did not shy away from. Because Tommy G has been wrestling since he was 10 years old, and he has experience with and promotes MMA, which is mixed martial arts. So if you're not really involved in professional fighting and stuff, he might not want to be somebody you test. Okay, but let's get back to why I'm confident in my assumption that Tiffany bought Pookie and Ray Ray out to support her. And that's because of something that Tiffany Henyard said herself. Let's watch.
We can't say when we're running, y'all know I ain't lying about this, all you want to be politicians. When we running, you go get little JoJo from off the block. You go get little Daddy from off the block. But yet when it's time for them to actually work a job, now y'all don't want little Day and little Tay from off the block.
Well, she said Day Day and Tay Tay, and I said Pookie and Ray Ray. Same difference. But you guys see, she admits it. She went and got little Day Day and Tay Tay off the block, you know, to go ahead and help her with her campaigning. And to maybe go ahead and start up some stuff to stir up the atmosphere and maybe get rid of some of her competition supporters. You know, try to make them not feel safe out in the streets so that they might go home. But that didn't work. She ended up losing the race anyway. But this just kind of gives us a glimpse into kind of how her mind works and what she's willing to do to get those votes. So next, Tiffany Henyard took Tommy G on kind of a North Korean tour of Thornton Township and said that she was going to go door knocking so he can see how much she is loved in Thornton Township. But what did she do? She met two of her main supporters either outside of their houses or just on a random street somewhere. One of them I know for sure I saw at the caucus with a hashtag Team Tiff shirt on, as you can see right here. So she's been supporting Tiffany for a long time. The other one, I'm sure if I did a little bit more digging, I probably would find her at like one of the food box giveaways getting free food. But let's go ahead and listen to some of the things they had to say.
Look who it is. The one that only live. Good to see you. I said, you flying over here, girl. How are you? Good. How you doing? Tell everybody so the world can understand what it is your super mayor do.
She do a whole lot. Okay, she look out for her people.
I moved from the Chicago area, and in order for us to have festivals or things that we did, it was never in our communities. Since I've been in this township, festivals for every holiday. And I was able to go to the food pantry. And when I looked at my box, I had shrimp, I had chicken, I had a turkey. You know, it was good food.
Oh Lord, you guys, I cannot with this lady. She's talking about having festivals, so basically that's spending a lot of money on these holidays. All right, that's the translation of that. And then she's like, when I got my food box, I got shrimp, chicken. It was good food. I mean, food I never thought I'd ever see in my whole life. Food I never thought I would be able to afford, even at this ripe age. Like seriously, you can't afford that food on your own. I mean, what she's wearing looks pretty expensive. I'm just saying. And before you guys get on me down in the comments, I know there's some people who run out wearing Jordans, some name brand stuff, and yet they go home and they're struggling and they don't have any food. I know that happens, okay? And the only people I feel bad for when that happens is children, because it's obvious that their parents haven't learned how to budget, how to prioritize. And they probably inherited that generational lack of knowledge on how to maintain budgets, on how not to get in debt, on how to use credit to your benefit, and how not to get on welfare, because it's just a system that you will get trapped in and it won't encourage you to strive to do more. But don't get me wrong, those government programs can be a godsend to some people at some points in their lives. The goal is just not to get stuck on them. But that's a really packed subject that we're not going to go into today. Let's go ahead and get back to this video. So now that we've seen some of Tiffany's supporters, let's look at a reason why some people choose to be loyal to Tiffany Henyard. And I'm going to give you some hints. It has green. It's made out of a blend of 25% linen and 75% cotton. Let me know down in the comments if you knew that that's what money was made out of. So let's see how Tiffany Henyard acquires her loyal followers.
Who do you think are her allies? Like, why would someone support her at this point?
She take people and she give them the most they've ever made. The most they've ever made.
So this woman right here is Dr. Nikita Cloud, and she was originally hired on to be Tiffany's PR. But since the former PR person didn't work out, the Board of Trustees thought it wasn't a good idea to go ahead and hire another PR person. And in fact, Tiffany brought up a company called Black Excellence Media up before the board for approval, but they shot that down due to the cost. So fast forward a little bit, Tiffany Henyard's new chief of staff was quitting. I wonder why. And then so in comes Dr. Nikita Cloud, who Tiffany originally hires as her PR, but then she gives her the dual title of PR and chief of staff. One thing the trustees were trying to get into Tiffany's head is that a lot of the bad press that she was receiving was self-inflicted.
We already have a lack of police, and you having 2 officers on your block and then someone following you around all day long, it's really wasting the resources of the village. We all understand you are a female. I understand that you have a child. I'm not saying that you don't deserve to be protected. I'm saying that 24-hour protection at the cost of the village is astronomical. And I'll even reference Trustee Steve saying with your self-inflicted comments that's causing a lot of this.
In other words, if Tiffany Henyard would have learned to be quiet, listen, and reflect on some situations rather than just running her mouth, then she might have avoided some of the bad press, especially the press concerning Alexis Wilson, a 19-year-old young woman who was killed by Dolton police officers. And at the time, Tiffany Henyard made a statement after the incident, and it wasn't very sensitive to the loss of life of one of the residents in a town where she is the mayor. So this guy you see up on the screen is Sean Howard, and he was the original PR person for the village of Dolton. And so through his advice, this is a statement that Tiffany Henyard put out about the Alexis Wilson shooting. And so this is what she said. They did do the right thing, Mayor Henyard said. If anything, they have saved the community from any crime that could have happened last night. They did do the right thing. Yeah, that sounds like Tiffany Henyard. Dr. Nikita Cloud actually addressed Tiffany's response to the media at the time.
So when we got to the coffee shop in Homewood, she told me that she needed someone for PR. She told me that she had a publicist who gave her this bogus script to say when Alexis Wilson was murdered. She told me that the previous publicist told her to say what she said on television. My immediate response was, "And you said it? So you read it and you said it?" She said, "Yeah, I mean, because, I just trust my people around me to tell me and lead me in the right way." I said, "But if you read something so insensitive, sis, you don't get in front of national television and say that. You're a mother."
I'm going to say this. It's sad to see other women go after another woman who's a single mom and not want her to protect her family or her daughter.
You somebody's mother. I'm like, but guess what? What we're gonna do, you're gonna go back in front of television and you're going to apologize. She said, "Oh no, I can't do that. How about we hold a press conference and you apologize?" I didn't say it.
So with Dr. Nikita Cloud being the chief of staff and the PR person, I'm pretty sure she was getting paid really well. But no matter how much someone is paying you, everyone has a limit of what they're willing to tolerate. And so came the time where Dr. Nikita Cloud decided to separate herself from this whole Tiffany Henyard fiasco.
The day of her inauguration, my father-in-law fell gravely ill, and I had to pick up and go. I had to go. So I didn't make her after party. She called me in a meeting with her entire administrative staff, said she's a priority. That same day, there's a meeting with the village administrator and all the department heads. He told them to no longer come to me for any personnel matters and to report to the finance director, because I'm speaking up too much. I'm speaking up because I go hard for you all. I spoke up every time I saw something wrong. I'm like, this sounds like federal indictments. This is smelling like a lawsuit. So the day I quit, I walked out very loudly. I'm quitting, but it's a good day.
So looks like she got off that sinking ship just in time. Next, we're going to hear from someone else talk about how they were receiving the most money they've ever made while working with Tiffany Henyard, aka being loyal to Tiffany Henyard.
Who do you think are her allies? Like, why would someone support her at this point?
She take people and she give them the most they've ever made.
I was making the most money that I've ever made in my life working for her. I was making almost $138,000 a year. That was my salary. Like, I'd never seen that. Like, I never had money from my check left over and it didn't have to go to something. So why on earth would I have ever messed that up? Like, I even was talking to Jen. I said, I kind of much rather probably would have been rather on her side and fighting you than this being my narrative.
So if you're new to this situation, this is Fania Dukes, and she was one of the most loyal people to Tiffany Henyard. She looked up to her and she trusted her. Now, a while back, she accused trustee Andrew Holmes of actually assaulting her while on a taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas. And so what was reported by Fania is that she went to Tiffany with full confidence, thinking that Tiffany would have her back and that she would support her. Fania said she was then placed on leave and then later fired.
At the time, I didn't know how that investment would have gone, and I literally was fighting myself, even though, again, I feel my body, but my mind saying, this is big. If you do this is something that, you know, you can defame him. Like, you could possibly be wrong. Like, I'm saying all this little stuff just to deter me, and that's mostly the main reason why I didn't, because I felt like I just need to talk to Tiffany first. Like, I don't know what's going on. I need to talk to Tiffany. Do you regret that decision? I regret it wholeheartedly. Not me. I really believe that lady was gonna help me.
Dukes worked for Mayor Tiffany Henyard for about 6 months. She claims that on a taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas in May of 2023, she was assaulted by trustee Andrew Holmes. She filed a civil lawsuit accusing Holmes of assault and non-consensual dissemination of private sexual images. It accuses Tiffany Henyard of putting her on unpaid leave and later firing her to try and cover up the alleged incident.
And until this day, Tiffany has never addressed the incident. She has never addressed support of Fania Dukes. And in fact, there were statements put out on her behalf in the village of Dolton's behalf saying that Fania Dukes was just a disgruntled employee and that anyone involved in this incident who was accusing Andrew Holmes of these things were disgruntled employees as well. If you want to know more about that story, there are plenty of news segments about it. And there's even a one-on-one interview that Regina Waldrop of NBC5 Chicago did with Fania Dukes. So back to the original point I was trying to make, and that is why these people support Tiffany Henyard and why they choose to be loyal to her. The answer is obvious, right? That money, okay? she fills their pockets, all right? But that's easy to do when you have all that money at your disposal, i.e. the taxpayers' dollars.
And when I looked at my box, I had shrimp, I had chicken, I had a turkey. It was good food.
So you guys heard her. It was good food. And apparently that's enough to forget about all the allegations and all the alleged mismanagement of funds by Tiffany Henyard and go ahead and vote for her again. Yeah, no, I think not. Well, you guys, that's going to be it for today. I wanted to react a little bit more on Tommy G's video, but this video is long enough, I think. So I might do a follow-up video going over a little bit more of what he addressed while he was in Dolton talking with Tiffany Henyard. Speaking of this video being long enough, you guys, if you've made it this far, please hit that like button for me. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new here and like what you hear, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.